A ban on smartphones in schools in England has come into force today, making individual schools and trusts legally responsible for being phone-free throughout the day. Now, this is separate from the recently announced ban on social media for under-16s, and the government said the move would give legal force to what schools are already doing in practice. Mark Ansell reports from the biggest secondary school in Sheffield.
Ecclesfield School has had a ban on smartphones for 7 years. Students are used to switching off when they arrive so they can be switched on to learning. Pupils say it works most of the time.
You don't really need your phone in school anyway, and it's just like, what are you even doing on it when you're in school? You're meant to be learning.
For the majority of people it works because obviously it can't be a distraction. You need to be more focused on your lesson and what's going on around you, but some people obviously do abuse that rule and like sneak it, but I think there's always going to be a way around things anyway.
There's less of a distraction and you won't be as tempted to go on it, and I think you don't really need it in the day. Like, what use can you get out of it apart from the fact that like you can like scroll on TikTok and stuff, but you don't need it.
Students recently took part in a 3-week trial here where smartphones were banned 24/7 and basic brick phones allowed. Head teacher Richard Walkden is supportive of the government's school's smartphone ban.
Mobile phones, social media in particular, are causing more and more issues within society. But what the government are doing is they're trying to get a hold of this issue, and they're giving schools more backbone to deal with these issues on a day-to-day basis. So I encourage what the government are doing. I encourage the fact they're getting involved in this and making our lives easier and backing up the messages that schools are trying to give to all parents in 2026.
Schools can choose how they implement the smartphone ban. At Vale of York Academy, smartphones are stored in pouches which cost the trust £15 each. Pupils who do not have a device are scanned using a metal detector wand. Richard worries about the cost and staffing implications of doing the same at Ecclesfield School.
Schools are not flush with money, and for us to bring that in for 1,800 students would be nigh impossible. We've got other things to spend money on in schools. So for us, the pouches, I get the idea. However, there's so many different ways around that. For example, kids bringing a second phone. The time that it would take would be time we haven't got.
The barring of smartphones in schools is being followed up by the government with a ban on social media for under-16s, which is due to be introduced by spring next year. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Ecclesfield in Sheffield.